Shabbat shalom, peace and love, Shabbat shalom. Be reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28 to 32. Bear with me as I try to get through this, y'all willing. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, verse 1. And the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, say to the prince of Zor, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, because your heart is lifted up, and you say, I am El, I sit in the seat of Elohim, in the heart of the seas, whereas you are a man, and not El, though you set your heart as the heart of Elohim. This is, it's so many people who has this idea in their heart and idea in their mind, and even go as far as to bring this to words, like that they say, I am El, I sit in the seat of Elohim, in the heart of the seas, whereas you are a man, and not El, though you set your heart as the heart of Elohim. Verse 3, Look, are you wiser than Daniel? Has no secret been hidden from you? Good question. Verse 4, By your wisdom and your understanding you have made riches for yourself, and gathered gold and silver into your treasuries. By your own wisdom and your understanding you made riches for yourselves, and gathered gold and silver into your treasures. So now you think you somebody. Verse 5, By your great wisdom, by your trade, you have increased your riches, and your heart is lifted up because of your riches. Your heart is lifted up because of your riches. This is what gets their people's hearts lifted up, and their heads, start to increase, start to enhance. It's that money. That money blows your head up and lifts your heart to make you feel like you're your own creator. Verse 6, Therefore, thus said the Master Yahuwah, because you have set your heart as the heart of Elohim. Verse 7, Therefore, see, I am bringing against you strangers, the ruthless ones of the nations. And they shall draw their sword against the loveliness of your wisdom, and they shall profane your splendor. Verse 8, Down into the pit they shall bring you, and you shall die the death of the slain in the heart of the seas. Verse 9, Would you still say before him who slays you, I am Elohim? Whereas you are a man and not El in the hands of him who kills you? How about that? Verse 10, The death of the uncircumcised you shall be unalive by the hand of foreigners. For I have spoken, declares the Master Yahuwah. Verse 11, the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 12, Son of man, take up a lamentation for the sovereign of Zor, and you shall say to him, Thus said the Master of Yahuwah, you were sealing up a pattern complete in wisdom and perfect loveliness. Verse 13, you were in Eden. You were in Eden, the garden of Elohim. Every precious stone was your covering. The ruby, topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the shoham, the jasper, the sapphire, the turquoise, the emerald, the gold, and the gold. The workmanship of your settings and mounting was prepared for you on the day you were created. Who is he speaking about? And he's speaking about the sovereign of Sor, who has supposed to be, let's keep reading. Verse 14. You were I'm sorry. The ruby, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the shoham, the jasper, the sapphire, the turquoise, the emerald, the gold. The workmanship of your settings and mountings was prepared for you on the day you were created. On the day you were created. Verse 14, you were the anointed cherub. You were the anointed cherub that covered, and I placed you. You were on the set apart mountain of Elohim. You walked up and down in the midst of stone fire. Verse 15, you were perfect in your ways. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created until unrighteousness was found in you. Until unrighteousness was found in you. Verse 16, by the greatness of your trade, you became filled with violence. Became filled with violence. And you sinned. And you sinned. So I thrust you from the mountain of Elohim, and I destroyed you. O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Verse 17, your heart was lifted up because your loveliness. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I threw you to earth. I threw you to earth. I laid you before kings to look at you. Verse 18, you profaned your set apart places by your many crookedness. By the unrighteousness of your trading. By the unrighteousness of your trading. Therefore I brought forth fire from your midst. It has devoured you. It has devoured you. And I turned you to ashes. Turned you to ashes upon the earth before the eyes of all who sees you. So this form of this entity, this fallen cherub who appears to be the enemy, his form is ashes. His proper form, his appropriate form is ashes, because this is what the Most High turned him into. He said, I turned you to ashes upon the earth before the eyes of all who see you. So the appearance of the enemy is ashes. The appearance of the enemy is ashes. So this is like this. And that's interesting. It's very interesting. Verse 19. All who knew you among the peoples were astonished. Waste you shall be and cease to be forever. Cease to be forever. So he was once forever, now he ceased to be forever. Verse 20, and the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 21, Son of man, set your face toward Sodom and prophesy against her. Verse 22, and you shall say, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, I am against you, O Sidon, and I shall be esteemed in your midst, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah when I execute judgment in her, and shall be set apart in her. Verse 23, and I shall send pestilence upon her, and blood in her streets, and the slain shall fall in her midst by the sword against her from all sides, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Verse 24, and there shall no longer be a pricking briar or a paining thorn for the house of Israel from among all who are around them, who despise them, and they shall know that I am the Master Yahuwah. Verse 25, thus said the Master Yahuwah, when I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered. I shall be set apart in them before the eyes of the nations, and they shall dwell in their own land which I gave to my servant Jacob. Verse 26, and they shall dwell safely and build houses and plant vineyards and dwell safely when I execute judgment on all those around them who despise them. And they shall know that I am Yahuwah their Elohim. Chapter 29, verse 1. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, on the 12th of the new moon, the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, set your face against Pharaoh and sovereign of Mizraim, and prophesy against him and against Mizraim, all of it. Verse 3, Speak and you shall say, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, I am against you, O Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, O great monster who lies in the midst of his rivers, who has said, My river is my own, and I have made it for myself. Verse 4, and I shall put hooks in your jaws, and I shall make the fish of your rivers cling to your scales, and I shall bring you up out of the midst of the rivers, and all the fish in your rivers cling to your scales. Verse 5, and I shall leave you in the wilderness, you and all the fish of your rivers. On the face of the field you shall fall, and you shall not be picked up or gathered. I shall give you as food to the beasts. I shall give you as food to the beasts of the field and the birds of the heavens. Verse 6, and all the inhabitants of Mizraim and shall know that I am Yahuwah, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Yisrael. Verse 7, when they grasped you with the hand, you broke and tore all their shoulders. When they leaned on you, you broke and made all their loins shake. Verse 8, therefore, thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, I'm bringing a sword upon you, and shall cut off from you man and beast. From verse 9, and the land of Mizraim shall become a desert and a waste, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, because he said, the river is mine, and I have made it. Verse 10, therefore, see, I am against you and against your rivers, and shall make the land of Mizraim an utter waste, and a desert from Migdol to Sueda, as far as the border of Cush. Verse 11, no foot of man shall pass through it, nor foot of beast pass through it, neither shall it be inhabited for 40 years. Verse 12, and I shall make the land of Mizraim a desert in the midst of the lands that are waste, and among the cities that are ruined, her cities shall be at waste 40 years. And I shall scatter the Mizraites among the nations, and I shall disperse them throughout the lands. Verse 13, for thus said the Master Yahuwah, at the end of 40 years I shall gather the Mizraites from the peoples among whom they were scattered. Interesting. And I shall make the land of Mizraim a desert in the midst of the lands that are waste. And among the cities they are ruined, her city shall be a waste 40 years, and I shall scatter the Mizraites among the nations, and I shall disperse them throughout the lands. Verse 13, for thus said the Master Yahuwah, at the end of 40 years I shall gather the Mizraites from the peoples among whom they were scattered. Verse 14, I shall turn back the captivity. And I shall turn back the captivity of Mizraim. And I shall bring them back to the land of Pathros, to the land of their birth. And there they shall be a lowly reign. Verse 15, being the lowliest of reigns, and never again exalt itself above the nations. Never again exalt itself above the nations. And I shall make them few, so as not to rule over the nations. And I shall make them few as to not rule over the nations. Interesting. Verse 16, and no longer is it to be the refuge of the house of Israel, bringing to remembrance their crookedness when they turn to follow them. And they shall know that I am the Master Yahuwah. Verse 17, and it came to be in the 27th year, in the first month, on the first of the new moon, that the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 18, Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, made his army to serve a great service against Sor. Every head was made bald, and every shoulder worn bare. But he and his army received no reward from Sor for the service he served against it. Verse 19, therefore, thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, I am giving the land of Mizraim to Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, and he shall take away her wealth, take her spoil, and remove her pillage, and it shall be a reward for his army. Verse 20, I have given him the land of Mizraim as a reward for his labor, because they work for me, declares the Master Yahuwah. Verse 21, note that the Most High said the king of Babel worked for them. And this was the reward was to, the land of Mizraim, the land of Egypt. Verse 21. In that day I shall make the horn of the house of Israel to spring forth, while I open your mouth to speak in their midst, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Chapter 30. And the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, how? Woe to the day. Verse 3, For the day is near, even the day of Yahuwah is near. It is a day of clouds, the time of the nations. Verse 4, The sword shall come upon Mizraim, and great anguish shall be in Cush. The sword shall come upon Mizraim, and great anguish be in Cush. When the slain fall in Mizraim, and they take away her wealth, and her foundations are broken down. Verse 5, Cush and Put and Lud, all the mixed people, and Cub, and the sons of the land of the covenant shall fall with them by the sword. Verse 6, Thus said Yahuwah, those who lean on Mizraim shall fall. The pride of her power shall come down from Migdol to Seweniv. Those within her shall fall by the sword. Those within her shall fall by the sword, declares the Master Yahuwah. Verse 7, They shall be ruined amidst the wastelands, the wasted lands, and her city shall be in the midst of the cities that are dried up. Verse 8, And they shall know that I am Yahuwah when I have set a fire in the Mizraim, and all her helpers are crushed. Verse 9, On that day messengers shall go forth before me in ships to make the complacent Cushites afraid, and great anguish shall come upon them as on the day of Mizraim. For look, it is coming. This was something to come. This was actually this may very well been something that transpired in our past, but in the future of Ezekiel, when this was written in Ezekiel. So this may have been an event in our past, but an event in the future of Ezekiel. Because it says, On that day, messengers shall go forth before me in ships to make the complacent Cushites afraid, and great anguish shall come upon them as on the day of Mizraim. For look, it is coming. Verse 10, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, I shall cause the crowd of Mizraim to cease by the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel. Verse 11, He and his people with him, the ruthless ones of the nations, are brought to destroy the land, and they shall draw their sword against Mizraim, and shall fill the land with the slain. Verse 12, And I shall make the rivers dry, and I shall sell the land into the hand of evil ones. And I shall sell the land, I shall make the rivers dry, and I shall sell the land into the hand of evil ones. And I shall lay the land waste, and all that is in it by the hand of foreigners. I, Yahuwah, have spoken. Sounds familiar? And I shall make the rivers dry, and I shall sell the land into the hand of evil ones, and I shall lay the land waste and all that is in it by the hand of foreigners. I, Yahuwah, have spoken. Verse 13, thus said the Master Yahuwah, and I shall destroy the idols. And I shall destroy the idols and make an end of the images of Noth. And there shall no longer be a prince from the land of Mizraim, and I shall put fear in the land of Mizraim. Is this all the Most High is doing? Of course it is. Is this all the Most High is doing? Of course it is. Absolutely. Verse 14, and I shall make Pathros waste, and I shall set fire to Zoan, and I shall execute judgments in No. Verse 15, and I shall pour out my wrath on Sin, the stronghold of Mizraim, and I shall cut off the crowd of No. Verse 16, and I shall set fire in Mizraim. Sin shall writhe in anguish. No is to be split open, and North has adversaries daily. Verse 17, the young men of On and Pi, Beseth, shall fall by sword, while these cities go into captivity. While these cities go into captivity. Sounds familiar? Verse 18, and in Tehaphanes the day shall be darkened, when I shatter the yokes of Mizraim there. And Mizraim is Egypt, by the way. If you're not familiar with the language, Mizraim is Egypt. And the pride of her strength shall cease in her. A cloud shall cover her, and her daughters shall go into captivity. And her daughters shall go into captivity. This is Egypt. Verse 19, and I shall execute judgments on Mizraim, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Sounds familiar? Verse 20, and it came to be in the 11th year, in the first month, on the 7th of the new moon, that the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 21, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and see, it has not been bound up for healing, to put a bandage to bind it, to make it strong to hold a sword. Verse 22, therefore thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, I am against Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and shall break his arms, both the strong one and the one that was broken, and shall make the sword fall out of his hand. Verse 23, and shall scatter the Mizraites among the nations, and disperse them throughout the lands, and scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and disperse them throughout the lands. This is what the Most High is saying he's going to do, and what he's done. What he has done already. I believe this has been done in our past. Let's keep reading. Verse 24, and strengthen the arms of the sovereigns of Babel, and strengthen the arms of the sovereign of Babel. And I shall put my sword in his hands, and I shall break Pharaoh's arms, and he should groan before him with the groanings of the slain before him. Verse 25, and I shall strengthen the arms of the sovereign of Babel, but the arms of Pharaoh shall fall, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah when I put my sword into the hand of the sovereign of Babel. And they shall know that I am Yahuwah when I put my sword into the hand of the sovereign of Babel. And he shall stretch it out against the land of Mitzrayim. Is this what we're witnessing? Is this what we have been witnessing for a long time now? Experiencing those who are Egyptians and those who are Babylons. Verse 26, and I shall scatter the Mitzrayites, and I shall scatter Egyptians again among the nations, and I shall disperse them throughout the lands, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Is this not what we have experienced? Is this not what the Egyptians have experienced? Being scattered throughout the nations, dispersed throughout the lands, scattered throughout the nations and dispersed throughout the lands. Just a thought. Chapter 31, verse 1. And it came to be in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, on the first of the new moon, that the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, say to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and to his crowd, to whom are you to be compared in your greatness? Verse 3, see, Ashur was a cedar in Lebanon. Ashur was a cedar in Lebanon. In Lebanon, that's a familiar name. See, Ashur was a cedar in Lebanon, beautiful branches and forest shade, and of high stature. And its top was among the thick foliage. Verse 4, the waters made him great. The deep gave it height, with its rivers running around its planting, and sent their channels to all the trees of the field. Verse 5, therefore its height was lifted up above all the trees of the field, and its boughs were increased, and its branches became long because of the many waters, as it sent them out. Verse 6, all the birds of the heavens made their nest in its boughs and under its branches. All the beasts of the field gave birth, and in its shadow all great nations dwelt. Verse 7, and it was beautiful in greatness and in length of its branches, for its roots reached to many waters. Verse 8, cedars in the garden of Elohim did not hide it. Fir trees were not like its boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like its branches. No tree in the garden of Elohim was as pretty as it. Verse 9, I made it beautiful by its many branches, so that all the trees of Eden which were in the garden of Elohim were jealous of it. Verse 10, therefore, thus said the Master Yahuwah, because you have increased in height, and it set its top among the thick foliage, and its heart was lifted up in the height. Verse 11, I give it into the hand of the mighty ones of the nations, and he shall certainly dwell with it. I have driven it out for its wrong. Verse 12, and foreigners, the most ruthless of the nations, shall cut it down and leave it. Its branches shall fall on the mountains and in all the valleys. Its boughs lie broken by all the rivers of the land, and all the peoples of the earth shall come out from under its shadow and leave it. Verse 13, on its ruin shall dwell all the birds of the heavens, and all the beasts of the field shall be on its fallen branches. Verse 14, so that none of the trees by the waters would exalt themselves because of their height, nor set their tops among the thick foliage, and that no tree which drinks water would ever be high enough to reach up to them. For all of them shall be given up to be unalive to the depths of the earth among the children of men who go down to the pit. Verse 15, thus said the Master Yahuwah, in the day when it is brought down to the Sheol, which is the grave, I shall cause mourning. I shall cover the deep because of it, and hold back its streams, and many waters shall be confined, and I shall make Lebanon mourn for it, and all the trees of the field shall wither away because of it. Verse 16, I shall make the nation shake at the sound of its fall. I'm saying the sounds of its fall. When I bring it down to Sheol together with those who descend into the pit, and all the trees of Eden, the choice of the best of Lebanon, all that drank water shall be comforted in the depths of the earth. Why am I linking Lebanon with Garden of Eden? I can't help but to link Lebanon with the Garden of Eden. I don't know why. I never been to Lebanon. I don't see much about Lebanon other than it being attacked decade after decade. I don't know much about Lebanon outside of it being attacked decade after decade. But it seems like the verse is making a connection. It seems like this chapter of Ezekiel, chapter 31, is making a connection between Lebanon and the Garden of Eden. I can't help to make this connection. And all the trees of Eden, the choice and the best of Lebanon, all that drink water shall be comforted in the depths of the earth. Man, oh man. Verse 17, they too shall go down to the Sheol with it, with those slain by the sword, and those who were its strength shall dwell in its shadows among the nations. Verse 18, to whom are you to be compared in esteem and greatness among the trees in Eden? But you shall be brought down with the trees of Eden to the depths of the earth, lie in the midst of the uncircumcised, with those slain by the sword. This is Pharaoh and all his crowd, declares the Master Yahuwah. Chapter 32, verse 1. And it came to be in the 12th year, in the 12th new moon, on the first of the new moon that the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, take up a lamentation for Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and you shall say to him, you were like a young lion among the nations, and you are like a monster in the seas. And you burst forth in your rivers and trouble the waters with your feet and muddy their rivers. Verse 3, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, and I shall spread my net over you with an assembly of many peoples, and they shall bring you up in the net. Verse 4, And I shall leave you on the land, hurl you out on the open fields, and make all the birds of the heavens dwell on you, and with you I shall satisfy the beasts of all the earth. Verse 5, And I shall put your flesh on the mountains and fill the valley with your height. Verse 6, And water the land with the flow of your blood into the mountains, and let streams be filled with you. Verse 7, And when I extinguish you, I shall cover the heavens and make its stars dark. I shall cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. Sounds familiar? Verse 8, And all the bright lights of the heavens I shall make dark over you, and I shall bring darkness upon your land, declares the Master Yahuwah. Scary hours for real. Verse 9, And I shall trouble the hearts of many people. Surely mine would be one of them. When I bring your destruction among the nations into the lands which you have not known. Verse 10, And I shall make many people appalled at you, and their sovereigns, their kings, shall be greatly afraid of you when I swing my sword before them. And they shall tremble continually, every man for his own life, in the day of your fall. Verse 11, For thus said the Master Yahuwah, the sword of sovereign of Babel shall come upon you. Verse 12, By the sword of the mighty men, all of them the ruthless ones of the nations, I shall make you your hosts fall, and they shall ravish the arrogance of Mizraim, and all its hosts shall be destroyed. Verse 13, And I shall destroy all its beasts, from beside its great waters, and let the foot of man trouble them no more, nor let the hooves of beasts trouble them. Verse 14, Then I shall make their waters clear and make their rivers run like oil, declares the Master Yahuwah. Verse 15, When I lay the land of Mizraim waste, and the land shall be stripped of all that once filled it, when I have stricken all who dwell in it, then they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Verse 16, This is the lamentation, and they shall lament her. The daughters of the nations lament her over Mizraim, and over all her crowd they shall lament her, declares the Master Yahuwah. And it came to be in the 20th year. And it came to be in the 12th year, on the 15th of the new moon, that the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, verse 18, Son of man, wail over the crowd of Mizraim, and send them down to the depths of the earth, her and the daughters of the mighty nations, with those going down to the pit. Verse 19, Are you more pleasant than others? Go down, be placed with the uncircumcised. Verse 20, In the midst of those slain by the sword, they fall. they shall be given to the sword, drawing her and all her crowds. Verse 21, the mightiest among the mighty speak to him out of the midst of the Sheol with those who help him. They have gone down, they lie with the uncircumcised, slain by the sword. Verse 22, Ashur is there and all her assembly with their burial sites all around her, all of the slain fallen by the sword. Verse 23, whose burial sites are set in the side of the pit, and her assembly is all around her burial site, all around them slain, fallen by the sword, because they instill fear in the land of the living. Verse 24, there is Elam and all her crowd around her burial place, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, who have gone down uncircumcised to the lower parts of the earth, because they instill fear in the land of the living, and they bear their shame with those going down to the pit. Verse 25, they have set her bed in the midst of the slain with all her crowd, with her burial sites all around it, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword for the fear they instilled in the land of the living. So they bear their shame with those going down to the pit. In the midst of the slain, they have been placed. Verse 26, there are Meshech and Tubal and all her crowd with all their burial sites surrounded, all of them uncircumcised, slain by the sword, because they instill fear in the land of the living. Verse 27, and they shall not lie with the mighty who are fallen of the uncircumcised, who have gone down to Sheol with their battle gear, and whose swords were laid under their heads, but their crookedness are on their bones, because of the fear of the mighty in the land of the living. Verse 28, and you shall be broken in the midst of this uncircumcised and lie with those slain by the sword. Verse 29, there is Edom, her sovereigns, and all the princes who shall be given up in their might with those slain by the sword. With the uncircumcised they lie, and with those going down to the pit. Verse 30, there are the princes of the north. There are the princes of the north. All of them. This is interesting, these last two verses. The princes of the north, all of them, and all of Sidonians who have gone down with the slain because of the fear they instilled. They are ashamed of their might, and they lie uncircumcised with those slain by the sword, and bear their shame with those going down to the pit. Verse 31, Pharaoh and all his army shall see them, and he shall be comforted for all his hosts that were slain by the sword, declares the Master Yahuwah. Verse 32, for I have put a fear of him in the land of the living, yet he shall be placed in the midst of the uncircumcised with those slain by the sword. Pharaoh and all his hosts, declares the Master Yahuwah. That completes the chapter. That completes the reading of Ezekiel from chapter chapter 28 to 32, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's where I read or started. Appreciate your patience, siblings. Till next time, may y'all bless. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise Yah. May all glory be to Yah, Yahuwah, Shabuoth, Yahuwah Almighty, Yahuwah El Shaddai. Till next time, peace, love, Shabbat Shalom, peace and love.